Welcome back to QA Ops. Today we are examining a fundamental principle of continuous delivery that is far too often misunderstood or ignored: the strict necessity of building an artifact once and promoting it across environments. We frequently audit CI/CD pipelines that are structured like this. Developers write code, run local unit tests, execute static code analysis, perform security scans, merge to a release branch, time passes by, and then a new build is triggered for the staging or production environment. On the surface, to a junior engineer, this might seem logical, but architecturally, it introduces a critical vulnerability into your deployment pipeline. Simply put, if you test an artifact, promote it, and then rebuild in a different pipeline, you are no longer deploying the same artifact you originally tested. When you execute a new build process, whether that's running an npm install, a Maven package, or a Docker build command, upon merging to a release branch, you are actively inviting environmental drift. In the time between your initial test and your final build, upstream dependencies might have updated. Transitive dependencies could resolve differently. Container-based images might have been patched. If a critical regression slips into production because a transient dependency shifted during that final pre-release build step, your entire QA cycle has been invalidated. You wasted computational resources and engineering hours testing an artifact that simply no longer exists. The architectural standard we must enforce is strict artifact promotion. The build process should happen exactly once. It occurs at the very beginning of the pipeline, triggered by the initial pull request. This process compiles the code and generates an immutable artifact, a Docker image, a compiled binary, a jar file. This single immutable artifact moves through all downstream pipelines until it reaches release. First, it is deployed to the dev environment for initial validation. Next, we promote it to the auto environment to execute our core automated test suites, and then up to the integration environment to verify system contracts and end-to-end flows. If those automated gates pass, we do not rebuild. We promote that exact same artifact to the stage environment for final sign-off. And when stage is green, that identical cryptographically hashed artifact is deployed directly to production. A common objection here is, but what about environment-specific configurations like database connection strings or API keys? The answer lies in the 12-factor up methodology. Configuration must be strictly decoupled from the build process. The artifact itself remains entirely static. The configuration is injected dynamically at runtime via environment variables, secrets managers, or Kubernetes config maps. Adopting a build once, deploy anywhere strategy guarantees deterministic outcomes. It provides certainty that the exact binary running in production is the one that passed your rigorous QA gates. Beyond the technical benefits, this approach is a massive saver of time and money. By skipping redundant build steps, you drastically reduce pipeline execution time, which slashes your cloud compute costs and frees up variable engineering hours. It completely eliminates anomalies and builds absolute trust in your delivery process. Here is what you can do right now to fix this in your own systems. First, open your CI pipeline file, whether that is a Jenkins file, a GitHub Actions YAML, or a GitLab CI pipeline. If you see a build or compile command happening after a merge to your main or release branch, refactor it. Move that build step to the pull request stage. Second, ensure you are pushing that resulting artifact to a centralized registry like ECR, Nexus, or JFrog Artifactory. Finally, update your deployment stages across dev, auto, integration, stage, and production to pull that exact image or binary by its specific SHA-digest rather than relying on the latest tag. We'll show how to do it in next week's video. Thanks for tuning into QA Ops. Subscribe for more deep dives into enterprise quality engineering, and we'll see you in the next release.